What's your most bittersweet childhood memory? When I was 8 years old, I decided the most important goal of my summer was to finally learn to ride my bike without training wheels. All the neighborhood kids were already flying up and down the street on their shiny bikes, laughing, daring each other to race, and every time I rattled along with my plastic training wheels, I felt like the little kid who wasn't quite caught up. I begged my dad for weeks to teach me, and finally, on a warm Saturday morning, he wheeled my small red bike onto our cracked driveway. I can still picture the sun glinting off the handlebars, the smell of freshly cut grass, and my dad crouching down to check the tires. He had this grin on his face, this rare, lighthearted grin that made me feel like the world was safe, and that I could do anything as long as he was there. The first attempts were rough. My legs shook, my grip was too tight, and every few seconds I'd nearly topple into the hedges or skid across the sidewalk. Each time I shouted for him not to let go, and each time he reassured me, "I've got you, I won't let you fall." He jogged beside me, one hand steadying the back of the seat, his breath coming out in little huffs, but his voice steady, encouraging, proud. Then came the moment. I didn't notice it at first. His hand slipped away while I was still pedaling furiously, eyes glued to the uneven path ahead. But when I finally glanced over my shoulder, he was several feet behind me, clapping, grinning like I'd just done something heroic. That was the first time in my life I felt that wild rush of independence, the feeling that I was moving forward entirely on my own. The wind whipped against my cheeks, my heart pounded, and I remember thinking, I'm flying. That moment was pure magic. It's still one of the sweetest memories I carry from my childhood. But here's where it turns bittersweet. That summer wasn't just about bikes and scraped knees. It was the summer my family quietly fell apart. At 8, you don't really understand the details, but you feel the tension. You hear the arguments behind closed doors. You notice the way your mom's smile doesn't reach her eyes anymore, or the way your dad spends more time away than at home. Only a few weeks after the bike ride, my dad packed a bag and left. He crouched down to tell me it wasn't my fault, that he loved me, that he'd still come around. But when you're that young, words don't stick. What sticks is the sound of the front door closing, the heaviness in the house afterward, and the sight of your mom staring blankly at her coffee cup in the mornings. For a long time, that memory of him teaching me to ride became tangled with sadness. Every time I got on my bike afterward, I wished he was still jogging beside me, cheering like he had on that first day. The driveway felt bigger, emptier, without his presence. I would race the other kids around the block pretending not to care, but secretly I wanted to look back and see him standing there again, hands on his knees, clapping proudly. But as I got older, the memory shifted. Instead of seeing it only as a reminder of what I lost, I started to understand what it had really given me. That was the day my dad unknowingly left me with a lesson I'd carry for the rest of my life. Sometimes you don't realize you can keep going until the person you're relying on lets go. It's bittersweet because the joy was real, and so was the hurt that followed. The smile on his face, the pride in his eyes, that wasn't fake. He loved me in that moment, even if he couldn't love my mom anymore, even if he couldn't stay. And though he walked away weeks later, he gave me one of the most important gifts I could have had at that age. Proof that I was capable, even when I didn't think I was. Now, whenever I face something terrifying or new, moving to a new city, starting a job I don't feel ready for, or even just picking myself back up after a personal loss, I remember that day on the bike, the wobble, the fear, the sudden realization that I was actually doing it, and the bittersweet truth that sometimes the people you love the most can't stay, but the lessons they leave behind still carry you forward. So my most bittersweet childhood memory isn't just about learning to ride a bike. It's about the moment I realized two things at once. That freedom is exhilarating, and that sometimes the people who give you that freedom won't be there to watch you use it. And in a way, that's what growing up really is. Learning how to keep pedaling even when the hand you thought would never let go already has.